I have a Monty bear with me. You can only see part of him. But he made it. Yeah, you did, didn't you, bud? Hey, HB, good morning, friend. Yeah, I'm experimenting a little bit. Trying to figure out what works. Trying to figure out how to make this more visually interesting. Hopefully give you a little bit more puppy. Hey, Bobby, good morning. That's the goal. Peace. Let's see here. I started with something large because I didn't expect people to show up right away. How are you both doing this morning? I'll get through this tree. Ooh. Too cold to be outside, yeah. It's funny, it's like, excuse me, throughout the day, like taking the dog out and whatnot, it doesn't seem that cold, but in the morning, it's just a little bit harder to get myself just to sit out there. If I'm walking the dog and I'm moving around, I'm okay, but if I'm just stationary, like I am when I'm out with you guys, it'd be freezing. Almost done with the tree. Did it. Hello, hello. How are all of you? My nose is actually running because it's chilly. You guys, I feel like things are kicking off with the telepathy tapes, and I need to get my next episode out real bad. I looked more into Dr. Beatrice Villarreal. Oh, hey, Andy. I looked more into Dr. Beatrice Villarreal. I think it's Villarreal. Villarreal. Everyone's pronouncing it a little differently, and I know I'm getting it wrong, but I watched something with her on Jesse Michaels, going more into her discoveries. And I have not ventured into episode 2 of season 2 of the telepathy tapes yet because I want to get more of the script done, if not fully done. And hopefully I'll have that today, and then I can move on because I'm dying to hear the mediumship one. I know, and Kai's going faster than I thought, and I don't want to tell myself I need to keep up, but I'd like to. Oh my goodness. We will see though. It'll just depend on a few things. But I saw Kai this morning just briefly on Dr. Mayim Bialik, is that how she pronounces it? The girl that is also an actress from Big Bang Theory, but she was first and foremost a doctor, scientist, and she was also Blossom for anybody who's older, but she's got a podcast now, and she had Kai on, and I started that this morning as I was setting things up. I don't know if any of you guys have listened. The Dr. Villarreal stuff is kind of crazy. Like, her interview on Jesse Michaels is nuts. Also, I want you to know, I tried really hard to get a puppy face for you, HB, for anybody that cares about the puppy. And the best I can do is get his butt in the frame. But it's a start. Yeah. Dropped with an indent, yeah? Oh, hey, Rob. Good morning. How are you? Okay, so Andy saw Dr. Villarreal on Jesse Michaels, and HB saw Kai Dickens on Mayim Bialik's podcast. I need to catch up on both. HB, when you say follow-up, does the media, or when you say follow-up, when you say dropped with a dent, cute, first off, it's a big one, yeah? I mean, what did you think? How did you guys think? Yeah, Mayim's interesting, Rob. Have you, forgive me if I don't remember, but have you gone and listened to the podcast yet, Rob? The Telepathy Tapes podcast, like the whole reason I'm here. Oh, no, you're okay, HB. My point was that I figured you really, really loved the episode because I believe it has Amelia in it, correct? And I know that you felt, I don't want to say protective towards her, but that you just felt called, I guess is the better term, to her experience. Sorry, guys, I gotta get some of these big ones out. A little, yes. Okay, so just a little bit. Okay, there's no judgment. That's okay. This is actually great for me. So tell me, Rob, what have you seen? One, you've not finished the first season, it sounds like. And two, have you ever seen any of my long form videos diving into the topic or into the podcast? There's literally no wrong answer. I don't mind. I'm so curious to talk to people that are just getting introduced to it or are newly interested in it. Sorry, this gravestone is larger than I expected. Being a little messy because I know that I'm going to go over it in the screen. It's going to be darker. Okay, Rob. Amelia is a medium, but doesn't Amelia also have precognitive capabilities? Again, I haven't seen the newest episode yet, so I don't know, but I thought that Amelia was also precognitive. But maybe she's just a medium. in that aspect. Whew. Okay, got through it. Gothric, hey friend, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Okay, so Amelia may have precognitive dreams that frighten her because she's still very young. She's only 11 now. Um, Andy, have you listened to the second episode yet? And what are your thoughts specifically on mediums, if you don't mind me asking? Because I don't think we've talked about that directly with you. Okay, so Kai talks about her medium telepathy in episode 2, not necessarily precognition. I see. Okay, let's pick another color. I'm getting the big colors out of the way, or like the colors that I know. And then building from there. So, let's see. GA22. You're back. Welcome back. We are talking about mediums right now, because now that we've gotten into the topic, I want to know what everyone thinks. I want to know who's listened to the telepathy tapes, episode 2, because I have not. Okay, so you saw the second one. Seems like some mediums may be real. Okay, so Andy, that's what I wondered, because I don't know why in the back of my head I thought there was a chance you may not, that you may surprise me in what you think, Andy. This has like become a favorite game of mine, is to be like, what do Andy and HB think about XYZ topic? Okay, so for you it's solid maybe. It's still not like a without a doubt. Do you have doubts, Andy, on the telepathy aspect at this point at all? Is it for you still like you need to personally witness it to believe it? Are you a full believer? I know you and I mostly talk about UFOs, but they seem to operate off of telepathy, so. Okay, so Lidu. I haven't met Lidu yet. Are they introduced in the second episode? Yes, telepathy like reading minds, Rob. You've tried with some success. Okay, Gothric, you've been up since 10 and you've not ate. You don't feel hungry and it's almost 1. I understand that. I get like that sometimes. Physical exercise usually will spur my appetite if nothing else does. If you're looking for something. And sometimes it's okay to fast. I mean, maybe it's a fasting day for you. It's okay to listen to your body. Okay, so you are convinced about the telepathy, Andy. Okay. Rob, you asked a question like you are new to this subject on this channel. Have we not been a part of this conversation? So maybe you barely started the telepathy tapes. But do I want to make this the same green? Yeah. So maybe you just started the telepathy tapes, so you're not quite in the thick of it yet, Rob. But okay, but when you think about it, you don't want it. Yeah. All right. So, friend, please keep listening to the telepathy tapes, or if you don't, for whatever reason, if you don't want to listen to the podcast, but you like my mug, you can listen to my deep dives about it. They're all in a playlist. I have the first season done. and I go over each episode and basically who they introduce, the experiments that are done, and then I kind of veer off into relative topics that they bring up that I just want to talk about more. In that first season, there are now many, 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 many people, Andy and HB and I among them, that now are full believers that telepathy is real, that there are people who experience this, and the rest of us are just kind of figuring it out. And it has put me into such ontological shock that I started a YouTube channel about it. Like I had this channel, I'd made a couple of videos about nothing because I didn't really know what I was wanting to talk about. But then this podcast came out and just completely changed my thoughts around consciousness and reality. And the biggest aspect of that is the telepathy thing. And I think that, like, if you do get into it, Rob, Amelia, the girl that HB and I keep talking about, she struggles with this. So she is a medium. She is also telepathic. And it sounds like she may also have precognitive dreams. And she's only 11 years old. And it's been a challenge. So when you say it would be a cool superpower, but when you think about it, you don't want it, they talk about that in the podcast. They talk about the challenges that some of these people experience. It's so wild. Oh, hey, Alf. Hi. Yeah, so I did deep dives, Rob, into each episode of the Telepathy Tapes podcast that is done by someone else talking about it. So yes. So if you've seen those, I mean, I have, I think 11 episodes out. So I did one initial one, and then I did 10 episodes where I go into each episode. And it is wild. Okay, man, your grandma has been dead since 2021, and they installed a stair lift, and they keep coming out to service it even though it doesn't work. Could just remove the thing. Oh, that's frustrating. I hope they're not charging you when they try to come and service something that you don't need. So yeah, Rob, that is how HB and I met. HB works with Dr. Hennessy Powell, and she was that key neuroscientist in the first season. And he found my deep dives and started joining my lives when I first started, I think in March of this year, when it was still really cold out. And the whole thing, though, is just mind-boggling in the best way. And I get really excited whenever I meet someone who isn't as like hooked into it as I am, just because it's like an opportunity to, I don't want to say see it from someone else's perspective again or anything like that, but it's just, there are certain things in life that you only get to do for the first time once, right? And you very rarely, I think, realize that it's one of those times until after the moment's passed. So like maybe your favorite book, whatever book it is, like you only read it for the first time once, right? Like you fall in love for the once with this book, for example, or this podcast or this movie or an experience or someone that you meet. And you might reread it 8 times, but there is something about that first time that you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could experience it for the first time again. And I feel like that every time I talk to somebody about the telepathy tapes. There's definitely something out there, 100%. I think that we've found everything out is so illogical. Yes, I get so mad. I get so mad when there are people out there that think that we've learned everything that there is, that we know everything about physics, that we know everything about evolution. It makes me so angry. Okay, Gothric, you have a question, rather, I want an opinion. Do you think the government has been intentionally sort of Manchurian candidating people? I was using Sundown's lives for my treadmill work. HB, LOL, good idea. They do, Rob. Yes, I do, Gothric. I think I do. Oh, is that record done? Um, can you explain what you mean when you say Manchurian candidate? Hold on, let me get this. Just a minute, I gotta get Kleenex. Okay. All right. Kids. All right, let's see. I know what it's. Wait, where'd my dog go? Montgomery. Guild under duress. And you crack and just say anything. I mean, Gothric. Say what they want to hear in order to be let go. Oh, I see. Come here, Bubby. Hi, buddy. Yeah, it's chilly out. Sorry, I'm just catching up. Hi, baby. Okay, so I do think the government's fucking around. You know what's an interesting kind of conspiracy theory that's going around right now that's along that same vein is all of what I've talked about this before. All this GATE program stuff that happened in schools in America in the 80s and 90s. Oh, Bubby. Oh, no. Sorry, guys. My doggy just got sick. Oh, Bob. You okay? What was that? All right, hold on, guys. TV timeout. Come here, Bob. Moshi. Oh, Bob. Yeah. To clean this carpet. All right, kids, hold on a second. Oh, Bob. You all right? Did you eat something that upset your tummy? Yeah. Hold on, everybody. Come here, buddy. Sorry, guys. Upset stomach. We joke that HB or that Andy has an MIB, but I'm not joking. I think Andy has an MIB. I know, poor buddy. Oh, he has a scarf. Yeah, he's got his Halloween bandana on. I think that Andy does have an MIB. I think we have seen clear indications of such. I'm gonna have to move seats until I can clean this carpet properly. Sorry, guys, I don't want to time out on this, but I gotta clean this up. Okay. Square sort of matchy puzzles. Yeah, exactly, Rob. I was like, wait, I don't think we're joking, are we? I thought we were all under the same page that Andy's MIB agent is very real. You remember? Okay, great. All right, so we are talking about it. So, Gothric, yes. John Lennon was a victim of that. Joke, I thought we agreed. Swear, matchy, Andy. Oh my god, I was just thinking that. Junior in high school, crazy dog action, free entertainment. No, did you spill something? No. Hi, Zach. No, my dog got sick. So I'm just cleaning up. car. I didn't want him to get sick. Okay, so that pink stuff, I think that was some sort of fluoride rinse, right? A lot of people are talking about that pink stuff that we drank. I did the same thing. I remember being told that Reed did that to make sure we were brushing our teeth right. That they put the pink liquid, they gave us the pink liquid, like you said, so we could see the plaque on our teeth and we go home and brush our teeth. And now there's people saying that there's all sorts of weird stuff about that. The thing, well, I was introducing my dog when he came in here and got sick. He'll be back in a minute. But the thing that throws me off, and something, Andy, I don't think I told you this when we first talked about the Gateway tapes like months ago, but the first time I did the Gateway tapes from Robert Monroe, the very, very first video you hear, he comes on and starts speaking and you hear the different tones in the ears and whatnot. I listened to that for the first time earlier this year, maybe this summer, and the very first thing I thought was, I've heard this before. And I swear it was from school. We were told it was a hearing test. And I remember it because it starts like, you're going to hear a tone in your left ear. You're going to hear a tone in your right ear. And then they're like, we're going to play both tones together and they're going to synchronize in your mind and whatever. And I remember that from school. And that sounds crazy in retrospect. Alf, dog not feeling well. Is he taking medication? No, he's fine. He's just doing a dog thing. He probably ate some, honestly, ate some goose poop when he was out with his dad or something of the sort, because he likes to do that. Yeah, he's just doing dog stuff. He's fine. Just dog stuff. I'm going to move my camera up and sit at my table. So I'm not sitting down here on this, but I mean, yeah, poor guy. I'm almost done cleaning this and then we'll get back to it. I've got a carpet cleaner that I will use later today. All right, let me go wash my hands. All right, kids. You guys are just along for the ride today. Okay. Let's pivot. How am I going to do this? All right. Thank you guys for like sitting and chatting for a second while I sort my life out for a minute. My poor doggy. Okay. Sorry kids, I gotta see what I'm doing. Stuff. it up. Don't mind me. I'm so sorry, everyone. You guys are being heroes. You see all their music stuff. Yeah, you guys get a full 360 of the house. Well, part of it. Oh my goodness. Alright, we're getting there. Okay. Coming back online. I love that everyone's watching for the chaos now. Dr. Mossbridge was in the GATE program, really? Okay, thank you guys for keeping this conversation going while I figure out my life. I need to figure out how to show you guys what I'm working on. Okay, so Mossbridge was in GATE. I was not in GATE. I asked my dad 2 days ago if I was ever tested for the GATE program, and he did not remember. How do I do this? You guys, I had it all set up and ready to go today, and then just chaos with the dog. This is what I do every morning for you guys. All right, are we even gonna try and get the second view up today? I think I may just give up. Yep. We're giving up on that. You guys are just getting me today. Hi, buddy. How you feeling? You alright? Poor boy. Alright, let's take down my contraption. We're just gonna color and I'm just gonna show it to you. We're gonna just chit chat because I can't do anything else right now. Okay. You guys, I love this. Mom duties, thank you. Okay. He starts smoking and being rude. He's turning into a teenager. He's actually an old man. He's gonna be 8 in January. You had your gateway experience this summer too, working on doing it without the tapes. Tried contacting your grandmother with some success. Mossbridge was in GATE. Wait, can you guys still hear me okay now that I changed the mic? All right, let's see. How a baby can be schizophrenic? Do we think babies are schizophrenic? Wow. Okay, good. Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. GZ. Can you write something phonetically? Thanks, Rob. This is our friend Zeke with the last name. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Okay, I'm gonna move my computer over here so I can see you. Okay, so thanks for everyone's kindness during the intermission. All right. GATE program. That's kind of like what we're talking about. Pierced. Okay, you might have to remind me that if you come back on here, because it's not in your it's not in your handle, and I might forget. Okay, so the GATE program and the school thing. I don't know if I'm making it up in my head, if I'm having a false memory of hearing the sound. But I kid you not, the first time I listened to the very first tape, it was all I could think of was, I've heard this before. And I didn't remember, I never had known, I only learned about the Gateway experience and the Gateway tapes when the CIA released the FOIA information on it. And I don't even think I caught it right away. I think I caught it a while later. So like, I've not been aware of the Gateway experience for more than like maybe 2 years at most. So I don't think that I would have heard the tapes and then forgotten about them on my own volition. And like I said, the memory, I remember these huge headphones, and I remember being told it was a hearing test, and it made sense because it was like left ear, right ear. And we didn't think twice about it. But then when I heard the tape, I was like, this is what I heard, and this is not a hearing test. And it's just very strange. Picard for a second pierced. 101 GATE programming, what is it? Mossridge talks about in her last podcast. She can't remember anything. Okay, so here's another thing. I do not remember most of childhood at all. But I have always thought, and I still do as of right now, I've always kind of thought that it was just because of, I had a rough childhood, right? And they say that like when you have, childhood trauma, you don't remember everything. So I really didn't think, I've never thought twice about the fact that I don't remember anything from childhood. It surprises people. Like my dad is always surprised when he sees like how little I remember of stuff. But I wasn't in the GATE program. I had really good friends that were. But I remember the hearing test. I remember the pink liquid. And I don't know if that was part of like, if we're thinking conspiratorially, I don't know if that would have been part of gaining access to the GATE program, like getting chosen for it, if you will, or what it was about. I saw someone the other day that claimed that playing Heads Up 7-Up in grade school was actually a kind of, I guess not a telepathy test, but an extrasensory perception test, and replayed that constantly at my school, like with the teacher, like we played it in class. And I don't know if like in retrospect, I'm like, okay, I could see why that would make sense, because you don't know who's touching your thumb. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, let me know, I'll explain it. But you don't know who's doing it, and then you try to guess who touches your thumb. And I get that, and how that could be like a telepathic skill or whatever. But I also felt like we just did it to like tell, like you could just tell which kids were like, the way they looked at you or something, that you'd be like, oh, you picked on me, like you picked me, right? All the bad stuff done to me, all the bad stuff I did to others. God, wait, hold on. Oh, okay, so yeah. Okay, so the GATE program, pierced. Goodness, Rob, you poor kid. Okay, can be coincidence that they did do a hearing test and it was a similar frequency, or it was called the GATE program. Okay, so the GATE program stands for Gifted and Talented Education. When I was in school, we called them GT kids, gifted and talented, or they were in the GT class. We didn't call it GATE, but the official name is Gifted and Talented Education. And the idea was that kids that were, the way they would tell it to us and explain it to us as children was that kids that were really smart but didn't want to skip a grade would go into this Gifted and Talented program. But I also knew that they shared a classroom with the special ed class. So I'm like, you have the gifted and talented kids in with like kids with autism and Down syndrome. And at the ripe age of 12, 15 at the most, we definitely didn't understand that people with Down syndrome or autism could be intelligent. And so it didn't always make sense, but they were in this separate classroom, and it just kind of seemed like they got extra lessons because they were smart. Like, that's kind of what they told us. Now, the hearing test, it's very possible that it could have been similar. But if you've ever listened to the tapes, the very first one doesn't just start with like tones, it's someone talking and explaining it to you. It's a man's voice that comes on, and he's like, I'm going to play a tone in this ear and that ear, whatever. It could have been similar, but it was one of those things where it was like, it's like when you watch a movie and you're like, I've seen this before. And you're like, did I see this or did I see another movie like it? And you're like, you know if you saw it, you know? And I really felt like I had heard this before. And I don't know. Heads Up 7-Up was so fun. Mossbridge talks about it as a way to test for psi abilities. Okay, so somebody else said that they were testing for psi abilities with Heads Up 7-Up. And I was like, wow, I never thought of that. It makes a little sense. But also it was just like fun as a kid. And I don't know what to believe. You know what I mean? Telepath guy with the fro, Gelman or something. I don't know. Never actually got diagnosed. I think I might have Asperger's, but I learned to mask, yeah. Behavioral issues. Asperger's is not given as a diagnosis anymore. Really? ASD? Okay, it's just added to the spectrum. But I had all that special ed help for some reason, like someone next to me in every class. Yeah, exactly. Maybe you are one of the talented ones. Hold on. Record. All of these kids that are going through this, or not kids, but like they're adults now, they're my age. All of these people that are coming out now, starting to have like memories from when they were younger or starting to remember experiences in the gifted and talented program, are now, this is starting to come out because of Mall World. And I don't know who's heard of what, but essentially Mall World is, sorry, I gotta pick a color. Essentially Mall World is this like dreamscape that these like large amounts of people are claiming to visit in their sleep. And it's kind of blowing people's minds because every time one person comes forward and says, I dream of Mall World, other people come forward and they're like, I dream of Mall World. And there's this girl that came out and she did this whole drawing over the years, and there's been other people that have come out that have been like, I've been drawing this Mall World for years, and it's this place they visit in their dreams. And I say all of this to say because it took a while, but then it started coming out that most of the people that were talking about experiencing this were in the GATE program. And so, let's see, can I do 9:15 or 7:15? So they're trying to see if they can like correlate these things together. And it's just weird because, again, yeah, I don't know. I'm fascinated by it. And once we learned about things like MK Ultra, I kind of, it's not that I believe anything and everything, but it's that I believe anything could be possible in terms of what the government could have done or wanted to do with kids at a young age. Show us the doggy if he wants to. I don't know where he went. He went and laid down because he wasn't feeling well. Oh, it sounds like he's in the living room. I promise if he... Oh yeah, he's in the living room. If he comes upstairs, or if he comes out here, I promise I'll grab him to come over here. But since he doesn't feel good, if he's laying down, I want to let him lay down. If you... Not that I want you to rewind, but if you rewind, you'll see him. I want to go to Mall World. So the Mall World thing is interesting because a lot of them, your ex and I had the same dream. Okay, interesting. Or you and your ex had a dream. That's curious too. Okay, so the Mall World thing is interesting because it's not a pleasant memory for most people. Or not memory, but like it's not a pleasant dream for most people. And I've never had any of this kind of dream. I can't relate to this aspect of GATE. And I don't know that they're all in GATE, but like my partner read something the other day. I don't know. I think it was on Twitter, but some woman had said, like, oh, if you, I don't know how she said it or what she called out, but basically it sounded like she was reading me like a book. She was like, oh, if you are, a woman born between whatever years and were in the GATE program or were particularly intelligent, like I got really good grades in school, for instance, um, and you have ADHD and you were the eldest daughter and it was like all of this stuff, and it was like, how's your spiritual journey going? And it was like, oh shit, I feel called out. But it again related to the GATE program, and it was like this idea that like there are all these people around my age that are kind of waking up at the same time, and part of that is people starting to compare childhood memories or lack thereof. And it's just, I don't want to read into it, but it's just very curious. Yeah, it doesn't seem fun. The way that people describe Mall World is not always pleasant. It's kind of wild. Man, I wish you guys could see what I was doing. I'm sad that the doggy got sick for multiple reasons. One, I want to sit back on the ground. Two, I wanted him in the shot, and he was doing so good. And three, I want him to feel better. On Wednesday, I'll clean the carpets and everything, and on Wednesday, I'll get back into position so you guys can see him. And because it's Halloween, I will probably get on Friday also. Oh, and what's today? Is today the 27th? Is it the 29th? The Three-Eye Atlas is passing its closest. And there are all these people in like the woo-woo world that think that there's going to be some sort of mass awakening because the electromagnetic impact of Three-Eye Atlas on the Schumann resonance and on Earth and whatnot. I am going way off the rails right now. I'm trying to remember what I heard, but do you guys know what I'm talking about? Internal error occurred. What do you mean, friend? Left a comment on one of your shorts. What's your next video going to be about? Oh, hi. It's going to be on the telepathy tapes, season 2. YouTube can't handle your next level ideas. Oh, weird. Fortune teller use astrology. Yeah, I heard about that. Gonna have a sausage egg on toast. Wait, Rob, what did you hear about? I already lost my train of thought. My next video, Pierced, is going to be on episode 1 of season 2 of the Telepathy Tapes podcast, going into more detail about all the information there. And that episode, if you have not listened to the podcast or you don't know what I'm talking about, is about near-death experiences and people who have had them and what they reported upon coming back, and the similarities across not only people of all different ages and walks of life and experiences and countries and religions and everything, but also throughout the ages. Like they even go into ancient stories of verified near-death experiences. And I am working on that video now. And then I will still start sandwiching other stuff in between, but oh, Gothric, boo. I'm sorry. Maybe your Men in Black is moving on from Andy to you. But yeah, so my next episode or my next video, long form, is going to be about that. I have so many long form ideas, but per my productive procrastination, as many of you probably saw, I am not as efficient as I would like to be, and I'm really, really working on that in so many ways. Not just with YouTube, but just in life. Sorry, almost done with the grass. wish you guys could see. Three-eyed Alice. Oh, wow, Pierce, that's amazing. So the only thing I will say, by all means, try it if you want, but the meditation, I mean. But I watched something with a remote viewer who, I don't remember if it was a remote viewer or an astral projector, and I think he was remote viewing, and I think that there is a difference between the two. But he, this was months ago now, but basically he went and he came back and was like, hey, everyone needs to stop going to the hill. If you aren't going there naturally on your own, don't go. It's not for us. I'm not telling you that. I'm saying this is what the guy said. And he was like, don't go to the hill. It's not for us. It's for these kids. But at the same time said that the kids are protected, that if you go, you will only go as far as they want you to. All of these kinds of things, which are really curious, and I hope is true. Obviously, there are speakers and stuff that have been to the hill. HB thinks that he's perhaps been, or at least like flirted with the hill. And I really want to go, but I only want to go if they want me there. Remote viewing is clairvoyance, do you think? I feel like they're different. Because remote viewing, you're given a target, right? You're given coordinates, you're given a goal. And I think that clairvoyance can come on sporadically as well as intentionally, right? I know, like the hill or the mall. I know. You know, the hill used to be called Lollipop Lane before it was renamed the Hill. You did a CE5. Yes. No, I don't mean us as a non-autistic. I mean us as in those of us who aren't already accessing it, but are needing to intentionally access it. So I say that because Dan, like you mentioned, he's not even autistic. And he went to the hill. But he went because they invited him. They brought him. He didn't intentionally try and go. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying autistic or not, speaking or not. I'm just basically saying that it seems to me that, like, if and when any of us are supposed to go to the hill, we go. And it doesn't seem like the people that we've heard from talking about the hill have personally gone to the hill because they were trying to. But it just was something that was gifted to them in a way. Like the experience was like, okay, you're welcome here now. We're bringing you in. I don't know that that's true. I think that we would have to ask one of these people that visit it regularly, like, hey, is it okay? But like I said, the one remote viewer astral projector I was watching that came back and was like, we need to stop doing this. Like, they're okay, but like it's annoying because he's like, basically somebody has to take time out of their experience on the hill to come and like escort you away or like kindly tell you you're not supposed to be here. So my thought with it, again, isn't that anything to do with autism or speaking or non-speaking. It is like, it seems like a meant to be thing, right? Like you're brought to the hill when you're supposed to be there. You might be more okay to go. I have no idea either because I've not been and I'm not there and I don't know the rules either. But it just kind of seems like everybody that has talked about the hill extensively, it wasn't because they went and found it and they went and tried and they wanted to be a part of it. It was like something that came to them. But I don't know. So Gothric, the hill is hard to describe, but essentially considered to be kind of a telepathic, I use channel for lack of a better word. It makes me think of a radio station, right? Like a frequency on a radio station. It's kind of like a telepathic channel, if you will, where a lot of minds go to communicate kind of in the subconscious. When in the podcast, when people are experiencing the hill, oftentimes they're laying in bed with pillows over their head, or they might look like they're asleep, or they might look like they're in meditation, or they might, like with the autistics, you'll have a lot of them that'll look like they're talking to themselves. And in fact, mentally, they'll be at this hill and they'll be in this telepathic space communicating with friends and loved ones there on the hill. And the reason we talk about this in such absolutes now is that the podcast has done so many things to prove that this is true and that this is happening. Like so many times where two people who have never met but are friends on the hill will contact their parents and say, my friend Johnny in North Dakota and my friend Susie in Minnesota, we're best friends even though we've never met. And they go and tell their parents, and their parents find each other on Facebook, and they're like, does your kid talk about Susie? Does your kid talk about Brian, or whatever I said? And they'll be like, yeah. And they're like, how do these kids know each other? And they're like, we're friends on the hill. And it's like, but there's so much more than that, right? So it's like an idea that they have a space where they can go safely and communicate and get away from the physical reality that we're all sitting in this like 3D space. And now with the telepathy tapes coming out, there are more and more stories of people who are verbal or who are not autistic being essentially invited to the hill and having experiences there. It started, at least right now, it seems like, with teachers that work with these students, paraprofessionals, nurses, things like that, that are going to the hill in their dreams almost. And then they come back and they wake up and they're like, oh, I think that was just a dream, whatever. And then like somebody in their classroom will be like, hey, I saw you last night at the hill. And she's like, what? What do you mean you saw me? Like, I thought I was dreaming. How did you know I had that dream? And they're like, it wasn't a dream. Like, that's what's happening right now. And I've got chills just talking about it. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you weren't allowed to participate because, well, I don't know if maybe that's why you weren't allowed to participate, but you were allowed to go. And I don't know, it's just really crazy. Okay, keep going, Pierce. I gotta pick another brown. So in this kind of realm, if you will, I don't know, it's fascinating. It just seems, it's one of those things that I would love to go, but I do not want to go unless it just happens to me, because I just feel like I don't want to interfere unless they want me there for some reason. I have a cousin who's nonverbal, but he lives in a different state, and I literally haven't physically seen him since the telepathy tapes came out. So it's been a couple years now, and I am itching to see him with all of this going on. And my stepsister is autistic, and she was nonverbal as a child, but she's verbal now. And she's a new stepsister, and she's still young, and so I haven't talked to her yet about her experience to see if she's ever been, but I'm itching to know. Matrix concept, so the hill could possibly be real. Yeah, it very well could possibly be real. This seems so fascinating, and I think it's so plausible, and it makes sense to me if it makes sense. I know, Rob, that's literally how I felt watching the podcast. It's ontological shock. You're like, I mean, it makes sense if it makes sense. It makes sense if it's real, but also, like, what? What do you mean? Okay, so Pierce, it was such a long time ago. You remember feeling crazy back then. You were ridiculed for it, so it stopped, and now you're trying to find your way back. I understand that. Different wired brains can maybe get feedback of the source in communication. It's like a happy dream, only you're awake. It's like a vision. So I have so many thoughts. I do wonder about the ways our brains are wired, and it seems like the more I learn, the more I start to believe that perhaps we perhaps our existence, all the things that we experience, our sensory input especially, are designed to make sense of a world that I think our brain probably can't make sense of the actual reality of. So we have these predictive machines in our heads that try to make sense of things. And the older we get, oftentimes it seems as though certain things calcify, right? Our imagination, our gumption, our bravery, and potentially some of our abilities. And it's also fascinating. And I like to think that as these things become more aware and more public, and people start talking about them and start believing in them and start exploring them more, that maybe some of these gifts will open up for more of us. I think it would be so cool to wake up one day. It would be a challenge, don't get me wrong, it would be a challenge, but I think it would be so cool to wake up one day and like find out I'm psychic, or have the ability to at least choose telepathy if I want to, or I don't know. There's so many thoughts. Oh, Gothric, cigarettes or, yeah, you did write about it, HB. Cigarettes or something else? Why 608? Where's that marker? Oh, there it is. Oh, deja vu? Oh, I love deja vu. Love deja vu. Yes, guys, stop on the cigarettes. Gothric, I take bupropion. It's an antidepressant, but it's also an anti-smoking cessation thing, and it could help you. Hold on one second, guys. Coffee? I can't find the coffee. Okay, the dog is passed out, so I can't get him right now. Switching the record. All right, guys. Let's see. Okay, so deja vu, smoking. That's what we're talking about. Hi, kitty cat. Oh, your stuff. I get it. Sometimes we go into hermit mode. Deja vu helps you remember your dreams. What does precognitive mean in that context? Remembering your promise 35 years later. So, purist, in HB's perspective, and I don't mean to answer for him, but I know he has dyslexia and it helps. These precognitive things, from what I understand, is that he'll almost have dreams that seem less dreamlike and more memory-like, And then in his waking consciousness, we'll experience something like deja vu that will roll into whatever that precognitive dream was, and then he kind of knows what's happening next. Was that a good way of putting it, HB? You've been on here before. No, you only experience in future tense, like I was trying to shoelace and you had chat on, and I was like, I've been here before. Yeah, that is my experience. I don't dream about it and then have deja vu. I just have deja vu and I'm like, I've done this already. Like I've been in this moment before. Hold on, let me get my coffee. Wait, pierced, what do you mean? Future vision dreams. He is like the Oracle of Delphi. Wait, stop. Pierced, really? Friend, I'm so excited for you. I have chills again. Okay, hold on. Are you... My mind is breaking right now. You're saying that you experience the same thing that I just described that HB experiences? Like, you'll have a dream, but it doesn't really feel like a dream, but you'll kind of let it go, and then sometime in the future, you'll kind of experience deja vu, and it'll make you realize that you're thinking of that dream, and you'll flash back? I'm kind of freaking out for you. Experienced 4 times in your life. The last time it was so obvious that you stopped questioning it. Yes. Oh my God, friend, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the circus. I hope that we see a lot more of you. That's what I love talking about. That's why HB is here. It's hard to find a safe space, I think, to talk about experiences like that. Like you said, you've had it 4 times and it made you stop questioning, but I think it's finding others that are like, I have had this experience and I can verify it, that like really makes other people like you hopefully feel more comfortable coming out with your experiences. I love that so much for you. Welcome to our circus. So HB says that I'm an intuitive empath. I'm still learning what that means. It's a Jungian phrase, isn't it? Like a Carl Jung concept. I can't remember if that's who it was. HB, I did, yes, we are like Ringling Brothers, just getting better. What was I gonna say on that, the intuitive empath? I colored a coloring page, HB, of Medusa to do a voiceover YouTube short about my Medusa dream, speaking of intuitive empath, because I think that might have been one of the first times you called me that or told me that, was when I had that dream and you were asking me how it felt and all of these, like, I don't want to say leading questions, but all of these questions to kind of help gauge like that dream and if you thought it was precognitive. And I don't think it was precognitive because it's about Medusa, but I'm excited to share the dream. I've actually been trying to dream lately and it's not happening. The intuitive just means that I'm working on my discernment. Yes, Medusa gets a bad rap. Rob, I guess anybody, were you guys here when I had the dream and I was talking about it? I can give you a short version. Yes, working on my discernment. So the dream, short version, is that it kind of reminded me of National Treasure in that like it was an adventure. And essentially Medusa in my dream is real, and I believe in mythology she was like still alive despite being decapitated, right? So in my dream I had her head basically was found and getting sent to the Smithsonian or to a lab or a museum or something, and I intercepted it in the mail in this like unmarked package, and I knew what it was, and essentially I swapped it out with a replica so that the real Medusa wouldn't get like poked and prodded in a lab or like stuck in a museum somewhere that she didn't want to be, like behind glass or whatever. And in my dream I was able to discern which one was real even though the boxes were unmarked and all of this. And a big highlight of the dream was me trying to figure out where I could safely send her, like the real Medusa, so that she would be safe and protected. It was a really interesting dream, but it was really detailed, and I remembered it more than I do a lot of dreams. And I wrote it all down, so it's stuck in there now. But it was just so interesting that when I came across a Medusa coloring page, I was like, all right, we'll record this one and I'll share that dream at some point. Hold on, I gotta finish. Gotta finish the dirt patch here. I hate that you guys can't see what I'm doing. Okay. I am empathetic to Medusa. She's my girl. Oh, do you, Rob? I like listening to dreams too. There's a friend of the channel, I think called Dream Detective, that pipes in every now and then, and I love hearing their interpretations of some of my dreams. She really was, and it's like so many people don't understand that Medusa was like given a bad rap. So you were kind of like Perseus, except instead of cutting off her head, you saved her, I guess. Yeah, we like to talk about dreams here. By all means, anybody has a dream that they want to jump in with, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, I very empathetic towards Medusa for sure. What do I do with this fence? You've tried discerning others' dreams. Yeah, funny enough, you had one of your last meditation sessions, you thought of the Oracle of Delphi, and now how much I admire her. Well, friend, considering you seem to have prophetic dreams, yes, I can understand that. When was the last time this happened to you, Pierced? I know you said it happened 4 times, but I'm wondering when the most recent one was. Yeah, your precog dreams. Like Oracle, I don't know a lot about the Oracle of Delphi, but I would imagine that anything to do with Oracle's precognition or prophecy could be up your alley based on what you've experienced. Also, guys, please like and sub if you haven't. And the music information is all in the description also, in case you're interested. This is my friend Zach, and he is an amazing, amazing ambient musician. Ambient musician. And has given me permission, thankfully, to play his music. And it's not in any sort of auto setting yet where I'm getting copywritten, which is great. If that happens, because sometimes they just set it up in a way that's automatic where he can't, like, he doesn't physically go in and report anybody, it just does it on its own. If that starts to happen, I'll have to figure something else out. But so far, so good. Yeah, HB. I'm going to email you about that. "2019, you were still in school, dreamt of a big hall with assembly lines to the left of you, and you remember how bright the room was. Most curious, a small group of people." Okay. I appreciate your ellipses to let me know that you're still going. Sincerely. "20-ish meters from you, and you remember distinctly that there was a dark-skinned man amongst them with a big personality. We can talk about Dr. Hennessy's speech." Okay. And by that time, I didn't know what I was going to do after school. And months later, when I had my levels, you started working at a small factory around here. Okay. Still listening? I'm debating on colors. Hello. There it is. HB, I don't want to say too much on live right now because it'll, I don't need to, but I do want to talk about that. I wanted to talk about when and where it is, but I am interested to know how your conversations have been going with it, because I know you've been helping out Dr. Hennessy. Give you guys an update on the photo soon. This conversation is giving me life this morning, you guys. Thank you so much. This is making me even more excited to go finish up the script and get the next video out and to move on with the series, especially Pierced, like hearing that you have had similar experiences to HB, like that's very, very cool. Okay, so her book's expected in January. Okay. All right, so one morning, it slowed down in the factory. You were at your workstation, and the sun was illuminating the whole hall, and there was a group of your coworkers behind you, and one of your supervisors was a dark-skinned man with the brightest, brightest smile, and always a joke on hand, and he stood with his other coworkers behind me, and the deja vu just washed over me. I was, like, struck with lightning. Oh. Wow. I love that. I love that for you so much. That is really, really cool. Yeah, HB, has had experiences at work and has graciously allowed me to talk about them at length on different episodes of these morning lives. I gotta figure out what color to do this guy's uniform in. Yeah, that is very, very cool. I haven't had, I mean, I experience deja vu often, usually like once a year almost. But mine don't come with precognitive dreams. That just happens one day where all of a sudden I'm in a situation and I'm like, this is familiar. It almost always involves other people. Very rarely does it ever happen when I'm alone. And it's usually not even with my partner. It's usually with people that we don't see all the time. So last time I had it was probably a year ago, 2 years. No, it was last October. It was last October. It was a year ago. I was at dinner with my girlfriend who lives on the other side of the country that was visiting with her entire family, like both of her parents, her brother, his wife, his daughter, 2 of her cousins, my partner. So it was like us joining their family for a dinner here in our town when they were visiting. And we were all sitting around the dinner table and it hit me. And I never met most of her family. I met her brother maybe once. I'd met her cousins, but I never met her parents. We'd never all been to that restaurant together, but I like had deja vu then. And the time before that was with here on my porch with my partner, but with 2 other people that were with us, one of which I had only met for the first time that weekend. And she was staying with us. And a couple of days in, one day we were outside and I just had this moment that I'm like, we've been here before, even though this girl and I had only met that weekend. It was very interesting. Deja vu. Yeah, like the 2 men reading you scripture, except for the stolen truck part, HB. Do I want to, what do I make? I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't know what to color his uniform. Can you see that? So that is a ghost hand giving the pizza guy money from a gravestone. It's kind of hard to see. But I don't know what color to color this guy's outfit. Blue, gray. Yep, it does make perfect sense. I'm the same way. I try to sink into it. I want it to like when I'm experiencing it, I wish it lasted longer so I could explore the feeling a little bit and be like, what am I remembering it? Is it where I'm at? Is it who I'm with? Is it what we're doing? Is it all of it? But it lasts so fleeting. It's such a fleeting experience. Okay, yeah, blue. That's what I was thinking, Andy. I feel like we gotta bring in some blues. B234. Yeah, I know. It's so crazy. But you know what? I mean, we say yeah, unfortunately. Things are changing so rapidly right now. I was thinking about this yesterday. Things are very scary and things are very hard and things are very strange. But what a time to be alive, right? To be witnessing all of this craziness, but also witnessing things that are scary, you know, things like AI, whatever. But also to be like alive at the time when we're questioning consciousness again, and we're questioning reality, and we're exploring things that were previously taboo, things that we didn't think were possible are becoming possible. And one of the things that I talk about a lot on my channel is the Bannister effect, because I'm really fascinated by it. And it's that concept that once something is done one time, it can be replicated by the people in the collective consciousness more easily. So Roger Bannister was the first man to run a sub 4 minute mile, the first recorded man. Let's put it that way. Who knows if it happened before then, but he was the first recorded guy to do it. And after he did it, all of these other athletes were suddenly able to run a sub 4 minute mile. And the idea is that with the Bannister effect, once somebody does it, it gets kind of entered into the conscious collective of possibilities, and then other people are able to access that ability. And it's just crazy. Do I really have to flip that? And so I say all of this to say, hopefully, things change more. I mean, this sounds crazy because we just dealt with everyone thinking that the rapture was coming, and that obviously wasn't the case. But it makes me think of that person I was saying earlier that said, like, this awareness is coming because of the 3i Atlas thing in the sky, and the Schumann resonance and frequency and electromagnetism. And if our brains are really just computers and electric circuits, and we're having consciousness piped in so that we can receive it almost, how does the electromagnetic shields of everything else affect it? And it sounds crazy, but at this point, I'm just so excited for the possibilities. Oh, that's why you said 3i Alice. Oh, it's because I didn't know what you were talking about. Sorry about my non-articulation. 3i Atlas. It's not even I'd. It's one I. 3i Atlas, because we've had two others. We've had 1i and 2i Atlas. It's for interstellar, because it's an interstellar object. But this whole thing with 3i Atlas is nuts. And the fact that this is happening at the same time that Dr. Beatrice Villarreal is running around telling us that, like, oh, FYI, we found out these have always been, like, all this stuff has been going on. And then you add, telepathy and all this stuff about potential non-local consciousness or collective conscious. And it's just, I don't know, my mind is kind of broken in the best way. I'm going to have a short coming out today or tomorrow that's actually about the conscious collective versus the Akashic records. When I kind of broke them down in episode 4, I have that prepped for a short. Okay. I'm going to put that back. Okay, so here's our guy without shading. It has been perfect in hour and a half now, which is where I would typically stop, but I'm going to go ahead and do the shading because we had disruption. All right. You're cautious around the thing of, oh, everyone is about to wake up, because I don't know, I'm still young. I feel like we're on the cusp of, yes. Okay, that's why I'm saying that. So that's why I'm like, it feels silly to say, because like people were just talking about the rapture. So like, what makes this any different, right? People talking about something coming. Like, I'm with you on that. That's why I gave that caveat, because I'm like, we've heard that before, but maybe, right? Maybe. I am a big maybe person. I'd like to see, maybe. That would be very cool. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm really excited that, like, I do believe, obviously I believe in consciousness, and I believe that there are people who are more conscious than others. And so it sounds plausible to me that there is a potential for greater awareness and greater consciousness in time. But who knows? I don't know. I wish you guys could see what I was working on. I mean, yes, everyone is thinking the world's going to end soon, but who knows? I don't think the world is going to end. I think if anything were to end, yeah, I mean, maybe a new humanity in that aspect. But like, I think if anything were to end, it's not the world, because I think Earth is going to be fine. I think that it's us, humanity. Um, Earth was here before us, and we are the virus on the Earth. So I feel like she'll be okay, and that it's really us that's questionable. But I do feel like my entire life I've heard the world's gonna end in some capacity, and so it's like, at what point do you start not listening anymore? But non-local consciousness and telepathy were not on my bingo card of life, and so now I'm open to questioning. This is cute. Woo! Just went off the table. I would have called it. If this fell off the table, I would have just given up today. Like, we're done with the live. I mean, I am almost done. Do you want to ascend humanity? I don't mind being human. I have an expiration date. It makes you appreciate waking and breathing seconds. When I think of ascending, I don't think of that. I don't think of not being human. I think of humans transcending in our evolution. Not that we would stop being human, or not that this part of the experience would end, but it would evolve. Does that make sense? And this is just my thought. True Y2K, 2012, etc. They kept saying it, which I'm not opposed to. Something will happen, but I don't think we'll know about it. Yeah, I agree. It thinks like something will just happen, or it'll happen slow, and we won't notice it until retroactively. UAP Gerb is a new one coming out this week. I saw that, Andy. I almost said something earlier about how I was glad to see him posting that something was coming. That's very exciting. Okay, one more thing. Sundown, thank you so much for being a woman in this space. As a woman, I feel like we're in a minority, LOL. It makes the whole experience feel safer that you're here and speaking openly about it. Oh my gosh, pierced. Thank you. I did not realize you were a woman because I couldn't tell from your name. I love that. I get real excited when there's women in the chat too. It means it's a hard place to be a woman on the internet in general. And so there's definitely like safety and comfort in having women allies. So I love that. Andy, I saw that all he said, if I remember right, was that he was working on a video and that it was turning out to be as large as the Lockheed video, which he wasn't anticipating it being that big, it seems like. I feel like that's what I read. I just remember seeing his post saying, I'm working on something, it's taking a while, but I'm working on it. And that makes me super excited. I'm really glad. Who told us about UAP Gerb? Who was the initial catalyst to that? Does anybody remember? I know, we do need more women in the chat. Bringing back what humanity has forgotten. We're all connected and love is the key. So speaking of that, bringing back what humanity forgot, HB. To me, who was asking about ascending? Was that you, Pierced? Yeah. To me, that's what I mean by the ascending part, right? Like, a guy called JT or something. Okay, I'll look. I don't remember what he said it was either. I just remember him saying it was going to be a big one. But when we talk about like humanity ascending, that's what I think of, right? I think of humanity improving themselves. Does that make sense? I like hopefully becoming better versions of ourselves, hopefully becoming more caring, loving people. Like when I think of humanity ascending, that's what I think of. I think of positive attributions coming forward in humanity in a more prominent way. And it could very well be wishful thinking, but that's what I think of when I think of it. I do too, Andy. I also, it was one of those things that when I read it, I didn't store it in my brain because I knew I was going to come back. I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll see it when it comes out type thing. But now I don't remember who he said it was about either. But I was excited to see he was working on something. And it is always a good reminder to me to keep moving forward and to get my stuff out. The only way this is going to become anything for me is if I keep moving. Yeah, HB, it is wild to even think about fixing religion being something that is possible. This music is so peaceful. I can tell we're winding down. I'm almost done. For anybody that wants to stick out and see the very end of this piece. The sad part is, I think I've said this before, but I always like the piece, like the coloring page better 24 hours later. After it's like really, really dried, it always looks better. This marker's done. I'm almost finished here. Almost done. It was shown because you trusted what you saw, and now you can fix it. I know. It still breaks my brain, though. Okay, 332. On Wednesday, hopefully, I don't think that my video on the tapes will be out by Wednesday, but hopefully the script will at least be done, if not recorded. And I'll have been able to move on to the mediums in episode 2 of the tapes, because I'm really dying to keep having this conversation. I hope she is too. So, Pierced, I get on usually Mondays and Wednesdays at the same time as right now. Whatever time that is for you, wherever you are, because this group is from all over the world. I know it's afternoon for Andy, it's afternoon for Gothric, it's morning for HB. So, whatever time it is for you, Mondays and Wednesdays, although this week I will probably get on Friday also, just because it's Halloween. And I love Halloween. So, potentially Friday this week also. But yeah, usually Mondays and Wednesdays, same time. And the idea is to sit and chat about these kind of esoteric topics. Talk about podcasts, we talk a lot about UFOs. That's usually just me and Andy. A lot about UFOs, a lot about dreams, a lot about consciousness, a lot about neuroscience, a lot about HB's book. I just talk a lot. I'm just a gift of gab, you know? All right, I'm almost done. Oh, hey, Tara. Wait. Rob, what made you sad? Okay, no problem. Thanks, Pierce. I'm so glad you're here, friend. I am so glad to have chatted with you. Thank you. It means a lot. It really, really does. I hope we see you again soon. Please don't be a stranger. Rob, what made you sad? Oh, also, someone asked if there was Halloween, who had Halloween plans earlier today, and no one responded, and I'm sorry. We have a house guest coming, but that's kind of the extent of the plans. I'll probably dress up and hand out candy to trick-or-treaters with my neighbors. You know, unless like the whole world becomes conscious or something crazy. Almost done, friends. So are these markers, damn. Problem I always have with markers is that they don't run out at the same time. So it's like I'll want to replace them, but there are still plenty that are good. So then it's like, do you replace them just based on like an as needed, and is that even a possibility? And yada, yada, yada. It's just things to think about. I gave a homeless gentleman some money and he handed me a sad poem called In Flanders Field. You know that poem from World War I. Wow. Wow. I mean, wild on all fronts, right? Someone gave you that. The fact that Andy remembers it so well. That's very interesting. Okay, very last stretches of this, I promise. I know I keep saying that. Not that any of you are rushing me off, but... finishing touches. Oh, you guys. Sad things. I told you, when this gives up, I'm done. I told you. It's done. All right. What do I have? The dark green. I was just doing this. All right. Those antidepressants. Okay. I think I got a better deal. I introduced you to a new poet that you're going to look up. Poor guy. Free entertainment. Yeah, screw sex. If you're going to pick up a free nicotine gum patches, if they didn't work, I'll ask about it. Yeah, Gothric. Bupropion. Or that's the off-brand. Wellbutrin. That is the name brand of the anti-smoking stuff. That's an antidepressant also. I am taking it as an antidepressant, not as an anti-smoking, but a lot of people really love it for that. Okay, kids, we're done. Record is done. Photo is done. Little table gave out. This is our final piece. I'll come closer. Hallucinogenic seeds. Weird. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to go, but I want to show you this a little bit better. I don't know what you can see, but they're cute. Thank you guys so much. What a day. What a conversation. And the poor puppy getting sick, but thanks for being here. This was a really enjoyable session. I will see you guys in 2 days. All right? Bye. Oh, wait, I gotta end you over here. Bye, bye, bye.